I still think Raymond in Star Ocean 6 being like a dude in his early 30s.
It's kind of like touching.
That's like, oh wow,
Adventure.
they made a Star Ocean protagonist for me. Hello, good people, and welcome to Off the Deep End, a Deep Listens podcast where we cover role-playing video games in depth. I am your host, Braden, who sometimes goes by the internet moniker Arbitrary Water, because that's what I made my Xbox Live name back in 2007, and now I'm trapped with it forever. I choose not to reveal my last name, therefore it is redacted. Joining me, also I'm the
hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, I'm the Final Fantasy X-2 of this podcast.
Okay.
Also joining me is Chris, who goes by the internet username Zombie Pie, and also refuses to share his last name. He is the Shadow Hearts Covenant of this podcast.
So I go for a lot of money on eBay?
Yeah, you go for a lot of money on eBay.
I am glad
selling
to
over 1 million copies.
Have a sweeping and slow burn narrative that will piss away all of the goodwill with my long-established fans.
You fire Rasputin. Also joining us is the Tales of the World Radiant Mythology 1, Adam Borkmaster Redacted.
Sphere of Might, Shockwave, Shotgun Blast, Sphere of Might, Healing, Ice Needles, Shotgun Blast, Sphere of Might, Out of My Way, Sphere of Might, Shadow Wave, Shotgun Blast, Sidestep, blah, Too Late for Regrets. There, that's your summary of Star Ocean 3.
Okay, well, that's the end of the podcast. Today we're talking about, and we're also talking about, Star Ocean Till the End of Time for the PlayStation 2. It was developed by Tri-Ace and published by Square Enix. It came out in Japan in February 27th, 2003. It did not come to the United States until August 31st, 2004. It is the third game in the Star Ocean series. But did you know that this was a fan pick? That's right, it was. This was a fan pick by Mika Chops. You too can be a fan and pick things. We don't have the slush pile open anymore, but you can give us $1 on Patreon at deeplistens.com/Patreon. Then nope, that's the opposite. Patreon.com/deeplistens. I was in a car full of children for 3 hours today.
It's been a rough week for you, right?
And you can listen to the Oji-san cast.
The Oji-san cast? What's that?
It's a podcast where Chris and I and Pete talk about anime roughly once a month. We're going to talk about Afro Samurai. It's 5 episodes long.
Movie with a movie.
And there's also a movie.
That's the Sam
That's
Jack
right.
Book, right?
Yeah. And, we can also talk about friend of the show, Cassidy from the Bad Game Hall of Fame. They recently played through that Afro Samurai game that was so bad they
pulled it from marketplaces.
Not only did they pull it from marketplaces, they pulled licenses from people, so even if you bought the game, you could no longer play it unless you had your PS4 offline. That game is something. The sound mixing in that thing is egregiously bad in a way that feels like someone was just moving knobs, and I respect that. But enough about respect. It's time to talk about our favorite underdog scrappy developer, Tri-Ace. Tri-Ace is the developer who have made many games that we have covered on this podcast, as well as the main podcast, including Eternal Sonata and
As well as the
Lightning
Final Fantasy
Returns.
podcast too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've played 13.2 and Lightning Returns. They've made some things.
They made a game called Valkyrie Profile.
It's
that
almost
the
like we
kids
took a
love.
note from the main podcast in not playing the first game in a series and instead played the most interesting.
The most infamous.
Yeah, probably infamous.
Yes.
For all we will maybe complain about this game, it's important to note that this did not kill a studio. It did not even kill a franchise.
No, this game sold
but it
very
is,
well.
It also even sold well. As I learned and I'll talk more about this later, there were a bunch of people who did not play the first two Star Ocean games, so they just interpreted this Star Ocean 3, which it doesn't even have 3, it just says till the end of time when it first came out, as, you know, a starting point for them. And Tri-Ace did interesting things after this. They did Radiata stories, a second Valkyrie profile game, another slurry of Star Ocean games and spin-offs.
It made Eternal Sonata.
Eternal Sonata.
Wasn't that Tri Crescendo, which spun out of
Yes, Tri Crescendo was
Technically it was a tie. It was a weird
satellite
team
studio,
effort. Yeah.
basically, like a.
They are technically, I think, owned by. They're not a fully independent studio, but I looked this up. They're not owned by Square Enix. They're owned by a different tech company. My notes says Nepro Japan. And their last work was Star Ocean, The Divine Force in 2022. And the last that we've really heard of them was that they were putting a lot on the line with that game and were facing insolvency and financial issues. And I think that the media silence on Tri-Ace after that game's release says a lot.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the third one. So,
Star Ocean.
Star Ocean. I feel like I need to reemphasize this. So, Tri-Ace was founded by former members of Wolf Team who worked on Tales of Phantasia for Namco and felt like they were getting ripped off. So, they left Namco and formed their own studio that worked on the first Star Ocean game for Square. It is a super, super late Super Famicom game, which is why it didn't come out over here, that straight up had like an extra chip shoved into the cartridge to allow for voice samples.
This was also not an outrageous idea. Like, even Sega console manufacturers were doing this. Like, putting a sound chip into your cards or your custom-made thing was okay. Just expect a little more shaved off of your bottom line with what you're trying to make. But if you wanted to go there, you could. And it was not completely out of the ordinary that people were doing that.
It is, yes. So I have always said this, but Star Ocean is in essence kind of the Hydrox to the Tales of Oreo, because it's the people who did it first and achieved significantly less success and recognition, despite being the ones who originated a lot of the ideas. Because you see the original Star Ocean, and you compare that to Tales of Phantasia, and you go, "Oh, I can see what they were trying. You can move around in a fully 3D plane instead of it being a lane, and it's got space in it. They clearly liked Star Trek, but don't worry, not that much Star Trek, because it's also about going to a fantasy anime planet and then doing time travel.
And to be specific about Star Trek, the franchise has always really liked the idea of the Prime Directive, which is if you are interacting with a group of people who have not achieved warp and you are a universe or planet or civilization that has achieved warp technology, you don't present yourself as technology man.
You basically don't go down to pre-warp civilization to start firing your laser guns around.
Yeah.
Or at least you're not supposed to.
Not supposed to, sure. But yeah, this is a sci-fi JRPG. There's some sort of connective tissue between the games. It gets tenuous starting with this game and everything that comes afterwards, but Star
They
Ocean
all
on
mostly stand on their own.
yeah, they
Yeah, 'cause
mostly
there's a
stand on their own.
timeline.
The first game does okay in North America. It
didn't come
doesn't
out.
even come out in North America, but it does okay in Japan. It started out on the Super Famicom, and it doesn't actually come out in North America until its PlayStation Portable release, which was a modified remastered version of it. And the weird thing about that first game is that it is just a group of Wolf Team that left because they did not like how Namco treated their team during the production of Tales of Phantasia. And you can tell that it's just members of Wolf Team that left in protest or duress trying to make a Tales of game after a pretty messy development process with the last one they worked on. The second game does come out in the US and is pretty well received, I would say.
It's definitely. I feel like people who were very into JRPGs during the PS1, a lot of them played Star Ocean 2. It seems like it has a similar like cult status to Legend of Legaia in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better game.
It's a more mechanically driven game, though.
Yeah.
It opted to use sprites in order to like realize the anime style of the
Yeah.
characters. And again, I sometimes wonder, to a degree, I wonder if like JRPGs were secretly how people got exposed to anime without even knowing it. Fun fact about Second Story R, that is made in Unity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that the most recent Star Ocean 2 remake, the one that came out like 2 years ago, that thing's a banger. I played that this year.
And
I recommend it.
Star Ocean 2 doing well enough for itself, especially in its release outside of Japan, led to a spin-off for the Game Boy Color that is fine if you want to deal with a very limited experience, but an almost immediate desire to make another game. So
Well, they also do Valkyrie
Second Story comes
Profile.
out, they then do Valkyrie Profile, and in tandem after the Valkyrie Profile project, they go pretty quickly into Till the End of Time. And now the franchise is moving solidly into 3D. There's no sprite work. There's no 2D plane-based things. It's a full-on arena. You can tell, I mean, we're trying to be much more, let's say, we're trying to be nice here. You can tell they put a lot of money into this game compared to the previous Star Ocean games and maybe even previous Tri-Ace games. I like Valkyrie Profile, but that game makes a lot out of a very limited scope, like gameplay crease. And this game is a lot bigger than anything I think Tri-Ace had ever done. So, like, transitioning to a completely 3D environment for a team that had previously played around with a mix of 2D and 3D, like,
And pre-rendered
that's no joke.
backgrounds.
That is no joke.
Yeah. So we're dancing around it. Do you like anime horseshit?
Depends on the horse shit.
It really depends on the horseshit.
Hi there. Just a quick interruption. This is normally where I'd put one of those fun 30-second interstitial musical clips. However, because this is a Square Enix game, and it's very hard to not get copyright flagged by Square Enix for using their music, I'm just going to put an entirely different music here. But just rest assured that even though we didn't talk about it on the podcast, Motoi Sakuraba is throwing out bangers in this one. Unironically, one of his better soundtracks of the 2000s. But you'll just have to imagine it or look it up. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
These, even in the transition to 3D, the Tri-Ace kind of makes the same combat system every single time with the Star Ocean franchise, which is getting into a rhythm, right, Braden? Because you played that remake, and it's really about creating combat loops that lead to new combat loops that culminate with a special attack that just obliterates everything that's in front of you. If
You
don't
do your
that within a
arts.
time, you just die, but
You
you're fine.
can those first two Star Ocean games, the original versions, are definitely a little stiffer and more limited. But by Star Ocean 3, they had clearly taken influence from fighting games and character action games. And
Mhm.
so you have your basic attack strings with each character that are modified by pressing the button and the control stick in directions, which is similar to how Tales of does it. But the difference is Star Ocean has always been a fully 3D plane, whereas most Tales of games were not fully 3D until I think Vesperia
Mhm.
is when you could finally freely move around in 3D without being locked to a plane, depending on which enemy you were targeting. And so you have attack strings that you can cancel into techniques or arts. I think they're literally still called arts, right?
I thought they were battle skills.
Okay, skills. They're called arts and tales of. And so it's basically about creating action combos that you cancel attack strings into specials that you cancel back into basic attack strings. And in theory, you can do some fun, like, combo-y, juggly shit. It's all the fun of JRPGs, but you can press buttons instead of looking at menus. And also important for this genre is characters need to yell out the name of their attack so that it is a cacophonous wail of anime move names.
Sphere of Might.
Sphere of
Sidekick.
Might. You gotta do Sphere of Might.
Sphere
You
of
gotta do
Might.
it dumber
Oh, okay.
sounding.
Oh yeah, Cliff.
Because Cliff.
But then Ice Needles.
Yeah.
They do it like
So the other thing I would say about Tri-Ace specifically is that Tri-Ace as a developer likes to make their games very systems focused in a way that allows you, the player, the tools to break their games wide open if given the knowledge and the opportunity. And
Well, that's kind of been part of what the Star Ocean games are about, because
yes,
it feels as if there's unofficially a timer there where if your 3 or 4 characters, it depends on the game, It's usually 3. If your characters do not deal with their present combat encounter within a certain amount of time, the boss is just going to lead to a negative flow that just kills you. So you have to find the combo with your characters that just deals with what's in front of you within a unexpressed amount of time. Otherwise, you're going to die. It's funny because when the Giant Bomb wiki first started, there was like a conversation about how to classify Star Ocean and also the dot hack games in terms of how they play mechanically, starting with 3, because it's not menu driven combat in 3. It's more of a real time interactive combat system. And you're using your button presses to input battle commands and attacks. And you have
You
direct.
can pause the game
You can
to
pause,
issue
but
commands
you
to
as the
your
player only
allies.
directly control one character.
Yes.
And whenever you are with that character that you directly control, the other characters are possessed by the AI. You can program tactics with those AI companions, which is preferable to them being fully independent all the time. But sometimes I did catch them doing things that just annoyed the shit out of me.
Yes. And that is a running trend with most of these games. To some extent, you have to babysit your party members, and that has remained true through most of these games.
You even caught a little of that annoyance of, why did you do that? Why did you do that when you
Yeah.
were playing the remake of 2?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Star Ocean 2, I would say, even in the remake, which adds a perfect dodge mechanic, it still is definitely, there's a bit of a clusterfuck nature to the whole thing. And I say that endearingly, but it is them putting together this combat system, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it has a full completely formed ethos behind it. It's just you can move around, and when you press a button, the character does it.
Well,
And
which leads to a lot of
it's-
mindlessness to this combat system in particular.
So the caveat for this with Star Ocean 3 is that this is how it works when you're playing with a DualShock 2 on a PS2. Or I guess they solved this in the remake. But if
well, the PS, so the version you can get on PS4, they, instead of mapping your skills to different buttons, it uses the PS2's pressure sensitive buttons. So the harder you press a button, a different art will come out.
And also,
And-
there's like the length of time you press the button is in
Yes.
there too, which can get awkward in combat.
Yeah, and I think that's my biggest problem with the combat here, because
Oh, I don't
am not
know.
against some JRPG action combat, but the way it is implemented in Star Ocean 3, and to be clear, I played this on PS4, where it's the length of time you hold the button instead of how hard you press it.
That's
Because
definitely a better
they
alternative.
got rid of the
to
pressure sensitive
default.
buttons. And it makes it hard to chain together the arts you want to chain together.
Mm-hmm.
So the core
And
feel of the combat just
yeah,
isn't there unless you do it on original hardware with original hardware.
and even then, it's still pretty stiff. I think
Yeah, it's
is
stiff.
is how I would say it.
To offer a little bit of a rebuttal, the thing that annoys me about this game is that it's about performing these arts and these special attacks and these fighting moves and synergies and runologies and all of these weird terms for this. It's symbology and runology are the big ones that use your MP.
It's the same thing.
which are
Magic.
basically the
Different names.
magic system.
Same thing.
The thing that drives me crazy is okay, so if you lose all of your HP, you get knocked out and you're unable to continue in a battle. If you lose all of your MP, you also get knocked out
That's
Yep.
a choice they made in this game.
That's a choice.
Yep, and the hardest boss in the game, who's not the final boss, just does massive MP damage constantly to your entire party, which has the same effect as doing HP damage.
So effectively, you have to worry about 2 bars that can result in a character being KO'd, which is completely just annoying. Just
Unnecessary.
very annoying. No, because there are enemies that, like Borg said, there are enemies that just take advantage of one versus the other. Normally, you have to worry about your HP, but then suddenly the MP draining enemies start spawning, and you always have less MP than HP. So the battles technically are harder and shorter, completely arbitrarily. And then you have your Fury meter, which governs how fast the characters move on the battle screen, but it doesn't start at a
It's a
high level. You
stamina
have to
meter.
build it up, and it's like
You have
fuck,
to,
dude.
yeah. So yes, the Fury meter is this game's equivalent of AP. So if you want, if when you in a
I mean,
Tales
it's
of
not like
game,
it's like a fighting game meter, really, because you build meter, but you build meter by standing still,
yes.
and
So
then you spend meter by doing literally any attack.
it is their way of limiting you from just mashing things out. And in a Tales of game, depending on the game, there are different ways they have dealt with it. In Tales of Symphonia, your character's combos get progressively longer as you level up, and you can cancel combos into arts, and you can cancel arts into higher level versions of arts. And so there's some fun stuff you can do with that. The way the Fury meter works is a lot more ambiguous, but the endpoint idea is you need to sit and wait for a split second after doing a long string of attacks.
Which again
Yeah.
breaks up those flows and those synergies that you're trying to build up, and this franchise usually encourages you to discover and build towards. So there are a lot of weird, awkward hitches in the combat because you need that stamina meter to get back up.
Not to mention the lengthy iframes that are series staple for everything. And then if you're not playing it on, let's say, a official hardware version, uh, like doing the canceling and fancy combos is basically impossible. And then once you get to that point, it really lays bare like the hitboxes, the enemy and ally AI, the I seconds, the iframes, I seconds, and that it's not a well constructed battle system.
They were proud of it. They put in they put in that versus mode.
Yeah.
God.
I do like how the game tries to reward you for using those symbology and runology moves by giving you HP and MP back at the end of battles if you did real well, but even that's like not always a certain. It seems to be an RNG thing where sometimes you get rewarded with MP and HP back after a battle, and sometimes you don't.
And then even
Um,
then, like the runology / symbology moves have a long wind up time, like
Yep.
long casting time on them.
Some of
So
them just are super arbitrary in how long they are.
so later
Frustratingly.
in the game, like for health management or MP management, it becomes like an item game, almost like an Atelier kind of thing, where you're playing a character hanging back, just popping off items to support the rest of the team.
You're better off relying on those items because you know how long they take. They're instantaneous, and these healing moves that you would normally rely on afterwards, just the timing just usually rarely works in your favor.
And those also have a lot less effect. Like you don't have a heal all party spell yet, but you have heal all party items. And also by the end of the game, you're taking MP damage. So if you spend MP in battle, healing, that's MP that's taking you one step closer to death.
Yeah.
So it's not it's the encounters and boss designs are not well balanced. It's a combat system that relies on using a DualShock 2 to get fancy with combos.
It's somehow even more you needing to observe meters and gauges and percentages than normal. Because then there's the bonus battle gauge, where it fills up when you strike enemies, and when it reaches full capacity, you enter bonus battle, where you get the special bonuses. Usually, it just gives you more EXP and full, which is the currency in this game. But you got
And
too
you
many.
use that.
I just feel like you got too many spinning parts, and it
Well,
just ends up feeling like a distraction from this combat that, in and of itself, is pretty superfluous. Like it feels very. Once you find like the right rhythm or flow
You're
or
gonna do the same
symbologies or
thing against
methodologies, you
most of
just
the
do it
enemies.
again and again and again.
And to go back to that bonus board, it's balanced in a way to where you need to use a bonus board because the standard experience and money drops from battles are meager. They are
Oh, yeah.
scanty.
Oh, yeah.
They
This
they
game
want
doesn't
you
let
to
you
do the stuff.
So it's a very grind heavy game, which encourages you to make use of the bonus board as much as possible to alleviate some of the grind. But I mean, for me, because I was playing on, let's say, a more free version than you're probably supposed to, which means that the combat was completely broken because I didn't have the DualShock 2 with me. Full disclosure, I made some modifications to
Sure.
get my to reduce the grind a bit. Like let's say quadrupling the experience drops, and I think that saved me 10 to 15 hours of gameplay.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think this game, like, yeah, the drop rate is bad. It's too meager in terms of the full. When you go into new environments or new locations or planets in this case, and you feel like, these are I need to buy this armor for this environment because this planet or new place is themed to an element or a status effect, and I need this. Buying new stuff is pretty hard because you just never feel like you're getting enough money.
They want you to invent things, but the invention system, let's say, isn't quite there yet because they brought it in Star Ocean 2, and I don't think the invention system becomes really super functional until Star Ocean 4. So
Kind of. I feel like Triace's item refinement and crafting systems have never truly been great, ever.
and Star Ocean 3 is it in itself the way it does it very it. Do we want to talk about it or skip past it? Because it's a whole can of worms, the invention system.
We should talk about it. So there
There's
is
a
a crafting
crafting system.
mechanic in here. It is introduced in a pretty bad tutorial.
Like Star Ocean 2, you can use the systems to craft items that can break the game, but it is
Following a guide, yeah, and
if
also
you're following a
like,
guide.
and there's a whole thing where you go around and recruit inventors throughout the world. They have various conditions. Some of them you pay them, find items for others.
It's almost like they took a crafting mechanic and decided to make it like Blitzball, where it becomes its own mini game where you have to recruit people and bring them into teams. And it's like, can you make this thing for me that I really
And
wish I could just buy from a
there's
merchant?
also like an RNG element for when you're doing the invention, and the invention costs money itself. So you do it at certain times when you can afford it, and then that gives it one copy of an item, and then a random chance that the item will show up in certain shops in the game. It's a fast travel, so if an item you need, like a resurrection mist or what have you, if you need a bunch of those because you're about to go into the Mosul ruins, and the firewall, and the shop that's carrying it is in Ariglyph, well, tough shit. You're hauling your sorry ass across the entire game world to stock up. So
Yeah.
it's not a good system.
Like in
It
other
is, yes.
Trice crafting mechanics, the improvements of the items that you make feels way too incremental and sometimes just not a big enough improvement for the time that is required of you to get those improvements. I
And
felt a lot of the same thing with the crafting mechanic in Lightning Returns or 13.2 especially. Like it's like percentages have gone up. I can't fucking tell a goddamn thing that this made. What did I actually get that made this like me doing the combat easier for me? Game, please explain.
I guess
And it doesn't really say.
survivability up by like 5 seconds. Combat.
Yeah, sure.
And so those are like the two major mechanics in the game. Really, there's like very little in the way of side quests. There's missable stuff, but like less than a dozen things that are missable flags in like a 40-hour game. So there's not a ton else going on here other than those systems and the story and the dungeons, right?
Yeah. I mean, the dungeons are pretty
I want
by the numbers,
I want to get into those.
and it's classic PS2 3D dungeons in that they overstay their welcome.
Well, see, they all have gimmicks. They all want to be like Zelda dungeon gimmicks.
Yep.
Almost. And they're all
This
bad.
was not the only 3D PS2, GameCube, Xbox JRPG that did this, where you need puzzles, you need gimmicks, you need them to be themed to something, and then eventually it's just piece everything all together. But given the fact that the combat is so brain off when you figure out what the gimmick is, the fact that they go on as long as they do just becomes like, I want to fall asleep. If this game would allow me to fall asleep while playing it, I would.
And that's why, and the story is of course the most infamous thing of this game, and so that combined with just the dubious dungeon design is why I kind of want to just step through this experience.
Sure.
Yep.
Braden, did you have any takeaways from playing the
Tell
game?
me a tale. Oh, from
yeah,
the game part of this game. I just think a lot of the unique and interesting parts of this game have been done better either by other action RPGs that were coming out around the same time or by other Tri-Ace games. And this game feels like a hard swing for them. And it seems kind of evident that they weren't fully ready for it. Also, let me tell you about riding those mine turtles.
Speaking of not ready for it, so they probably has Fate Line God, who was definitely not ready for it.
Tell me about Fate Line God.
Fate Line God, he's like 20. He's a college student. His father is a famous scientist on the moon.
Yeah,
because it is like the 2800s, space date 700 something, which puts it at the end of the Star Ocean timeline. For anyone who's curious. That means all 5 other Star Ocean games happened before this one. And so he's on vacation on not Ryza. It's not Ryza. It's a different planet entirely. With his parents and his childhood friend Sophia. Because there's a childhood friend of the opposite sex, and you know exactly where that's going.
Mm-hmm.
Fate's a wiener.
yeah, he
Bro,
is.
If we did another anime shit boy, this would win. He would win.
Fate is peak, and I mean this both as an insult and as a compliment. Fate is peak anime shit boy.
Wait, so when we say shit boy, because I like classify these as like evil wiener boy, like the Don
He's
Machi
not
guy.
he's not whiny and annoying enough to be true, like the
A
true
wiener.
king. But
But he's also not a goober.
he's a doofus.
Well, I mean, he's a doofus, but he's not a goober because like Edge Maverick is a goober, right? Fate
That's
Lion
true.
God is too serious about life
Yes.
to be a goober. He's just kind of a wiener, not someone you'd want to hang out with because he kind of sucks. Anyway, so Fate Vacation is on Ryza. On vacation, then aliens attack. You meet a traveling circus troupe. I'm not gonna get into that. You get evacuated. There's an evacuation ship. The planet you're on gets terraced. Terrace is the planet from KOTOR that gets
Sure.
obliterated.
It gets glassed.
It gets glassed. Yeah, they glass Ryza. Those damn Bandini, they'll pay for it. So you're on the evac ship full of civilians. That gets attacked too because war crimes. Fate goes into an escape pod and ends up on an underdeveloped planet by himself, where he meets some elf people in a rural village, helps them with the rural village problems because a different space asshole came in with a laser gun, decided to become a bandit.
Yeah, JRPG flavored problems.
It's a throwback even within this series. Guy with laser gun has to deal with people who are not technologically sound.
And then the guy in question is a shithead they have to go deal with in the first dungeon, which doesn't really have a gimmick. It's more of a straightforward, like Ancient Ruins dungeon. There's just like a really dumb puzzle at the end.
It's a tutorial dungeon.
Yeah. In the most craven sense, it is a tutorial dungeon with one puzzle at the end.
But yeah, after this,
and then Fate, when confronting the guy with the gun without a plan to deal with the gun, is rescued by Cliff. Is that Cliff Fritter?
That sounds right.
Yeah, Cliff Fritter, a big muscle guy,
a big dumb idiot, and like half of this is the English voice acting, which is of the era, let's say.
Up and down.
Sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it's like you're like, oh right, Wendy Lee, she's a capable voice actress. And then sometimes it's like, oh, where did they find you?
It's OG Song Cast.
Yeah.
Tier voice acting, I'm guessing.
It's definitely it is of its era.
Yeah, well, of its era is Cliff's assistant Mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so they beam up to Cliff's ship. I mean, Fate saves the village and then leaves. As you do, and so he's on the ship with Cliff and Cliff's partner Mirage. I think they were trying to go for a what was
a Han Solo?
No, the Dark Forces games.
Kyle Katarn?
Kyle Katarn and what's her name?
Kind of Mara Jade.
Dynamic.
No, not Mara Jade. Mara Jade's
Mara Jade's someone else.
Her name is Jan Urso.
Jan Urso.
Yeah.
Wow, Mr. Star Wars, Mr. Bloop
he's blending two games together, so I thought that we were stuck in the same game.
Yeah, so like it feels like they're trying to do that, but doing it badly. They get attacked by the Bandini, the space assholes who have been chasing Fate, and they crash into yet another underdeveloped planet. There's tons of these things, I guess.
Yeah, no, and they're all JRPG towns. It's weird.
And they're all Fantasy.
All of these underdeveloped planets are set up like traditional fantasy JRPGs.
Who would have thought? So they crash into a city of assholes, of medieval magic assholes. Get captured and tortured a bit for fun. Get saved by a ninja lady named Nell Zephyr. Zephyr. That's a fun name.
God,
I love the name.
Has a game ever delivered
nomenclature in Star Ocean is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The naming in this game is incredible because you have the names of the peoples and you also have the names of the countries, like Kingdom of Eriglyph,
Eriglyph,
Greeton, Aquaria,
Yep.
What was another one? Maria Trador.
That,
Trador.
that's a person's name.
I
Maria
know,
Trador.
but still,
Yes.
Maria Trador.
Uh-huh.
The planet Styx?
Oh, well, that's a series staple.
Elicor 2.
That's the planet. Which Elcor 2 is
Vendini.
fine. Vendini are yeah. So some of the sci-fi names like Hydra 4, Vanguard 3, Elcor 2, the Vendini. Those are fine as far as silly sci-fi names. It's the silly like J fantasy names where they really swing for it.
Oh yeah, the names of the characters are it's just incredible. It's
Like
incredible.
like Pepita Rossetti. Pepita Rossetti.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into Pepita Rossetti. So you're in a dungeon. So they're in a dungeon. They get rescued by Nel Zephyr, a lady ninja who's smarter than they are, but not that smart. There's a sewer aqueduct dungeon that's frozen over. You can fall through the ice and have to restart the zone you're in. That's annoying. Having the ice dungeon be the second dungeon, not the smartest idea. And then you're basically fleeing from the city of Ariglyph with the assholes to the good guy city of Aquaria, which is like 5 field areas and like 4 towns away, with some side diversions and dungeons on the way.
Yeah.
So you go through some mines where they ride these big turtle minecart things, and that's a whole section.
Boy, howdy.
That's not a good mini game.
That's a mini game. It's a mini game.
It's a mini game.
Twitch.tv/arbitrary water.
You have to rescue some, I guess, assistant ninja girls who get captured while helping you escape. And they're in a 3-story dungeon, and that's the dungeon where I got so annoyed with the game that I decided to make my modifications to it.
It's good that there's no such thing as cheating in a single-player game. Otherwise, I would have to castigate you for this.
Yes, no, it's really convenient that way. And that whole dungeon thing is that it's just big. You have to turn on an elevator to get to the boss. It's not that much of a gimmick, but there's just a lot of it. There's just a lot of dungeon there and a lot of combat. Yeah, and then there's a meet cute with a girl named Amina who's definitely not Aerith from the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. This poor flower selling girl, definitely not. And then she gets captured in the woods by an evil tree spirit thing. So there's a forest dungeon.
Well, there's an evil tree wizard, so
An evil tree wizard.
I do like evil tree wizards.
Everyone loves evil tree wizards, and that's a dungeon where at a certain spot that is not telegraphed at all, if you turn right instead of left, you miss one of the characters in the game entirely.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, Roger S. Huxley, who I can't tell you anything about, because
I know what he's named after.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what he's named after. But anyway, so you do that dungeon just on the way to the good guy city. There's a lot of detours involved, but you eventually get there. You meet the Lady Pope, who's actually not evil. There's a Lady Pope who's not evil in the video game.
It's shocking. A JRPG where the Lady Pope is not evil.
I know.
In this economy,
I know. And so the whole premise, the whole motivation for these factions is that because Faye and Cliff, like dumbasses, crash their spaceship directly into a city, everyone knows they're different somehow in advance. And because these two fantasy kingdoms are at war, they want these two dumbasses to build a weapon. Like, oh, you must be engineers of high education and standing. And Cliff's like, sure.
It's true. And this is the part of the game that I enjoy. I like the part of any given Star Ocean game where it's some dipshit being like, oh, I can't let them know I'm from space. And everyone's like, you use such strange magics with your light beam.
Yeah, Fate really beats himself up over the Prime Directive. When he's stranded on a planet, on these
My
fantasy
dude,
games
you're
that
like
aren't war.
19. Get over it.
He's like 19. Cliff
Onyx J.
does not give a
Kenny.
shit.
Onyx J. Kenny not only violated the Prime Directive, he also violated space-time.
The temple.
He
Prime
time traveled to
Directive.
double dip in his violations of the Prime Directive.
Onyx J. Kenny didn't give a fuck, and he was like
Clancy
400.
Kenny, he's a dumbass. He's much dumber than his father. I say that as a compliment.
Yes, but of course, those two games are 400 years before this.
Yes.
Because Star Ocean.
Yes.
So Cliff doesn't care, but Fate, the one who actually took a college physics class and could actually do something, because Cliff doesn't know anything about anything.
No.
He beats himself up, but eventually he's like, okay, I'll go and look at your like Magitech super weapon here, which is just artillery. It's just artillery. I'll take a look at it. He takes a look at it and goes, hey, if you use copper wires here, this would work a lot better. But they're like, oh, we don't have any copper. There's one copper mine in the entire continent. And it's full of dragons. And if Fanny Cliff are like, okay, yeah, we'll go deal with those dragons, sure. And then there's a whole dungeon where we're going to the one copper mine and clearing out the fucking dragons from it.
Yeah.
And there's all these like lighting based puzzles, because PS2 has lighting on it, like dynamic lighting you can use.
Yeah.
And those are mildly annoying.
Wouldn't you say, Borg, that the quest design and level design starts to feel a little bit like an MMORPG?
No, it doesn't. This is busy work. I'm sorry. This of all the things in the game,
questing.
This is what got to me. This one quest is what got to me. Because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you should use copper wires to use your magic electricity. And they're like, oh, copper, we don't have any of that. You don't have any copper in your entire kingdom? And this whole time, it's Fate, Cliff, and Nell. Like, this is like 10, 15 hours of
Yeah,
game.
it takes a hot minute before you get your full party.
Like, there are eventually 8 party members, and it's like, and you have 3 for like the first 2/5 of the game.
Yeah, you stay with that same trio for a while. There's not even like a ton of like guest characters here, so it feels pretty stagnant for, I would say, longer than it needs to be.
Which also means that that those 3 are going to be over leveled compared to the new characters you get, which can cause.
That's a whole different problem. The fact that those new characters don't do the math so as that they can get introduced at a pretty easy place is weird. I feel like that problem had been solved by this point.
Yeah.
I mean, this game also has NPCs that block doorways because they walk around the areas on random paths, which is also a problem I thought was solved by this point.
This game also, let me just point out, this game also does the same thing as Star Ocean 2, where certain party members are mutually exclusive with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
weird, right?
Some of them are more useful than others. Some of them are significantly more useful than others.
Yeah, well, so then you get at the halfway point in the game, you get your big dumb battle scene that has been building up to. It's a big dumb battle, but then the Vandinis show up in a spaceship because again, there's space stuff. It's been like 20 hours. Like, oh right, space. Spaceship shows up, just blast these fantasy armies into oblivion. There's a whole side thing where Amina, the not Aerith girl, is dying of some mystery illness of vapors or something, and her long lost childhood friend was like
consumption.
Was the weapons researcher for Aquaria, the good guy kingdom, and that researcher guy gets mortally wounded, and when the Vini show up and kill everything at that battle, and then the two of them die together.
Yeah,
him of his injuries and her of her illness, and it's supposed to be very sad, but it's actually very funny. That scene.
We've never played any Tri-Ace games with notably funny death scenes before.
No, never.
And that's what convinces Fate to go to throw away the Prime Directive and go all in to stop this war,
Finally.
stop the senseless bloodshed. And that's conveniently at the moment when Cliff's buddies show up, namely Maria Trador, who's similar age to Fate, and has the same. Oh, so Fate has superpowers.
Yeah, he
Because
does.
that Bandini ship that showed up and blasted the battlefield, Fate loses his. He goes. Homo Slice goes banana cakes, let's say.
He goes Super Saiyajin.
And then he goes Super Saiyan and deletes that ship. It's fun cutscene. I enjoyed that cutscene because again he freaks out and just deletes a spaceship. I love to see it. So Maria has the same powers. Both Maria and Fate were experimented on by Fate's father. Dun dun dun. And the Medini have been after him the whole time. That's why everyone has died. Is because of him. It's all his fault. And
He is the chosen one. He is the line god.
yes, he is the Lion God, and not enough people around him remind him that's not his fault. They're like, yeah, it's your fault, actually. You're right. You should blame yourself. Very odd storytelling decision there.
With Maria, you have to also point out this game has a relationship system where, depending on how you react and spend time with certain characters, you get
do private actions.
how you do private actions. You will develop relationships with one of the female characters because, of course, this is a JRPG of this era where you can only have heteronormative relationships. But there are a couple of other characters you can date, but Maria seems to be one of the more easy to get.
I mean, Cliff is way too old for Fate, so
Yeah. But what if you wanted that Bara? I want to say this about Maria. I thought that, again, with one of our characters' name being Fate Line God, I thought that the names were hints as to what they would do. So when I saw Maria Trador, when I first played this game years ago, it's like, oh, she's going to be a traitor.
but no, it turns out
And
she's
then
actually one of the better characters in the game. With
yeah,
some
apparently I
pathos.
overthought that one. I gave the game too much thought.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. You shouldn't do it. But yeah, Maria's one of the better games because she one of the better characters because she has something resembling pathos. Because she doesn't like haven't been experimented on. She's devoted her life to figuring that part out of what's going on. So now she's funning around with them on the surface of this planet. They have to wrap some things up before they can leave, such as making peace between the two warring kingdoms who have now been blasted by a spaceship and realize, oh shit, there's bigger fish to fry than each other. Plus, all the warmongering generals on the evil side have been killed, so that gets easier. There's a really bad desert level with a water meter system where you have to run between oases to refill your water bottle. It's very strict.
They
for that.
They cannot be accused of copy pasting dungeons. However,
no, they cannot. However, they can't make you run through the same dungeon multiple times. There's nothing in the rules that says they can't do that. You also the Vandini attack the sacred orb of the good guy kingdom, and you have to run through a very long dungeon.
Attacked.
The what?
I think that's the plot of Destiny.
Yet
an orb gets attacked.
Yes, an orb gets attacked. But anyway, so you run through a very long dungeon. It's actually 2 dungeons and one with multiple gimmicks. It's a death march to get there, but you secure the orb from the space assholes, and then you beam out. You leave. You peace out. You're like, all right, we have secured your orb. We've brought peace between these 2 warring kingdoms who have been decimated by spaceships. We blew up a couple of spaceships for you. And now we're out. Peace. So you leave. You immediately get intercepted by the Federation. That's right. It's just the Federation in this game. They didn't even try. And turns out there's problems on the moon. Because wait, so this is where the order of events gets messy for me. The space angels show up after you take care of the Bandini. Because Vandini also have kidnapped Sophia and Fate's father, and you have to go rescue them. And then Fate's father dies dramatically and tells you to go to the moon to find the answers. And then Sophia joins the party. And you take one person from the planet with you. I end up with Nell. like by default. And Nell really just takes everything in stride. Like all the bullshit that happens in the last half of this game, Nell is just like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, okay, you're from space, whatever, man.
She's too cool of a ninja lady for all this stuff to bother her.
I
She
mean,
processes
yeah,
it very well.
she's voiced by Wendy Lee doing her Faye Valentine voice.
Yeah, so
So
that character.
you know she's a cool lady.
So the space angels show up
Mhm.
at this point. And the space angels are here to wipe out all life in the Milky Way galaxy. Sucks to suck, I guess. So then you go to the moon. Like the moon. Earth, moon.
Yeah.
Moon, Earth. You run back into the circus performers somehow. Pepita, who's a child. A child. Can join. She is a glass cannon TPS. If you want that. And so you're fighting angels on the moon, as you do, to find the secret lab where Fate and Maria were symbolically engineered in their genes. And that's when we find out that Fate's father and Maria's mother and some other people, and like Sophia's father, had all gone to the planet Styx, which has featured in other previous Star Ocean games, because that's where the time gate is. If you've seen the Star Trek episode City on the Edge of Forever, the time gate is a sentient, talking big gate where you can travel back in time through it. It's a time gate that talks. And it's on the planet Styx, in case you didn't get
it.
If you
Yeah.
didn't get it. So on an expedition to planet Styx, the time gate told them, oh, by the way, the creator is going to wipe out all life in the Milky Way. You've all fucked up. There's nothing you can do about it. Prepare to die. And I guess with 20 years heads up, the scientists went and experimented on their own children to put powerful symbological thingamajigs in their DNA.
They basically were genetically engineering a generation of kids in hopes of being able to deal with this apocalyptic event, which seems to be like what this game has been building up to. It's like, oh God, we have to worry about some sort of big, horrible threat on the periphery of the universe that's going to eat and kill us all. And for a while, the game makes it seem like that's what it's about. It's building and centered around a JRPG centered around an apocalyptic event. Who could have foreseen that?
Well, the thing is, a third of the game is set on Elcor 2, where you're dealing with these warring fantasy kingdoms.
Yeah, these fantasy kingdoms that then just get almost pushed aside. Yeah, forget about that part of the game. It's time to worry about galactic apocalyptic events with giant like demon monsters that are going to eat whole galaxies.
Yes, with space
And
angels.
yet, that's not actually what this game is about. But we'll talk about that later.
What is this game about?
There. We're almost there. So on the moon, the Earth gets deleted by space angels. Hate to see it. You never want to see the Earth get deleted. And so you fuck off.
Which is weird because like you've played 4 where we get a lore drop where it's like, yo, there was World War IV and it like nuked the entire Earth. Earth is bad.
Earth. And
it's like Earth has been destroyed in multiple Star Ocean games. So if they want to, if he wants to eat a nuked version of Earth that we've apparently rebuilt again, fine, go ahead. Like it's not even the worst thing to happen to Earth.
Well, remember, this takes place like 750 years after Star Ocean 4.
Even then,
that's more than enough time for the radiation to be dealt with, for like the space Vulcans to have like given us the technology to like fix Earth, which again is very Star Trek. That's how Star Trek works. That's the actual lore of Star Trek is World War III happens, and the Vulcans show up, and it takes like 80 years to fix the Earth from World War III, and then space happens.
And then space happens.
And so that's literally how Star Trek works. So 750 years for Earth to be fully rebuilt and fine. I believe that. I mean, even without space technology, like the radiation wouldn't last for that long. But
Whatever.
anyway,
Okay, fine.
yeah.
I'll let that slide. Nonetheless,
Nonetheless, the Earth is deleted, and all of the Federation's enemies they've been at
Yep.
war with are also deleted. Like the Vandini, deleted. The Aldeans, who are just mentioned but never shown, are deleted. The Angels are just flying around deleting everything. So you get to the planet Styx. The captain of the ship, what was his name? Did he have a good name? I'm trying to remember that guy. I'm blanking it too. Either of you have anything? Anyway, he also had a good
No.
name. So this Federation ship gets everyone to Planet 6, then gets deleted. Rip in peace. And that's when we find out that Sophia was also experimented on as a child, and her superpower is to tamper with the time gate to go to the realm of the creator. So Fate and Maria can delete ships. Or I guess Fate can like just delete stuff. Maria can buff stuff, and Sophia can access the creator's dimension. So they all jump through, and here's the famous twist: they jump out of a TV screen in the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the entire universe is a fourth dimension MMORPG.
Yep.
We
This is
are
the thing
the
that
SAO.
everyone talked about as if it was a bad thing.
I loved it. I loved this part.
So they decide to have a flatland moment where these characters enter a new dimension, which again I'm referencing I think it's Edwin A. Abbott's Flatland, which is a satirical novella where a circle and a sphere and different shapes are talking about how much they enjoy living in a one-dimensional world line land, and eventually they realize that there's another dimension. I've written about this twist, and I am, I can appreciate Borg saying that it's so dumb that it's, funny. My point is not necessarily that I think that this twist that the world of Star Ocean is actually an MMORPG is good or bad. It's always been, and this has always really been my argument, they didn't own up to this. This is the biggest game that they made. This is like people's first impressions of Star Ocean because the first game doesn't come out of Japan. The second game gets a decent enough following. They push this game. This is how we're going to honor the past and like opt new people into this universe. And you drop this whopper that everything that's happened before has existed within the scope of an MMORPG. Like this fourth dimensional being that reveals themselves to be like the lead programmer of a video game.
And
they didn't.
He's a shitty tech bro. What if
he's
God
a
was
shitty tech bro?
So
again, it's flatland. It really is a flatland moment, like a flatland amongst many dimensions. And the characters obviously reject this reality and say that they've achieved sentience, and they delete this guy, this tech bro, Luther Lansfeld, but they're left just sitting on the fact that they're video game characters. And that might sound kind of compelling on paper, but in execution, you get one lecture about human consciousness after the other. And that's going to happen for about 2 to 10 hours. And depending on how you've done things, your Fate Langon just fucks off with one of his girlfriends.
Or if you fail to get a girlfriend, he just fucks off through the forest and finds himself. Better ending.
What really has always rubbed me the wrong way is how Star Ocean 3 entirely discards all of this world building for the sake of a cheap one-off twist that the series has repeatedly failed to make good on since it happened. Like, yeah, Star Ocean 5 is essentially an MMORPG, and you can hear hints of its, like, mechanics and, like, little quest givers, like, jokingly refer to the fact that this might actually be an MMORPG. But Tri-Ace has refused to own up to this fuck up by either like retconning Star Ocean 3 or doubling down and making it like this, as I said before in a blog, like just make this the series raison d'etre. Just make this the thing. And they don't, and they didn't. And that to me proves that they didn't actually think this through. They just wanted to put in a plot twist because Square Enix set the precedent that JRPGs that have stories have to have these big, shocking plot twists.
And the way they try to get away with it is every game after this takes place before Star Ocean 3.
It's the weakest shit. Like their roundabout solution is to refuse to go forward and only make prequels and things that take place before 3. Like that's weak shit. That's absolute weak shit. That's cowardice.
Though it's convenient that they have a whole 700 years of in-game history to bounce around inside of. So they don't have to acknowledge it if they don't want to. Like, they can set games in space date 550, 200 years before Star Ocean 3, and just ignore the problem.
Yeah, it's cowardice. Like, if you're going to completely unpin what connection people have to that second game, and it is that second game. Like, if you're going to really just, like, decouple the value of that universe and those characters this way, own up to it. Like, seriously, just own up to it. Make everything about MMORPGs. Like, don't pussyfoot around this. Like, this is it. But no, they won't. And it feels like watching, I think that last game was fine watching you play it, Braden, but it seems like Tri-Ace might not have had the money to take a narrative risk the way that they did here.
Yeah.
Or the production. Like maybe they just didn't have enough. There was no gas in the tank because no one can pay for the gas, which is sad to think.
They have always been a developer who has done more with less. And this is a video game that is it is I would say on the level of most of its contemporaries, but it is swinging for fences that it cannot reach. It's still a funny twist. People get so mad. People get so mad about, not to name any names, not to call anyone out on this podcast network, but people are like, "Oh, man, it was all in VR twist just ruins everything. It takes away all the stakes." No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because it matters for the characters, you dongus. But also, it's funny.
So it's funny, but you know what? I genuinely like the twist.
Yeah.
Fine.
Like,
people got so up in arms about the twist in this game because
I just wanted them, like, if this is the twist, then like own up to it in
yeah, okay. You're mad at them for not following it up in Star Ocean 4.
And
that has nothing to do with this game right here.
Like they go the exact opposite direction. Star Ocean 4 is 750 years before
Star Ocean 4 is a prequel.
750 years.
Yes.
It takes place in 2090.
Yes.
They do the exact opposite of dealing with it.
Yes. They run as far away from it. And I think this twist is good. It's very stupid. It makes sense considering the era, because this was also the era of .hack and like
and SAO was like a thing in Japan by this point. Like there wasn't an anime,
as a light novel, not as an anime.
Yeah.
Like the concept of we are characters in a world, that is something that was definitely covered at this time. And the unwashed masses rejected it, and now we'll never have to deal with the ramifications of it.
But I just want to get into like just the way they go about this, which is where I find the most interest. Because you can just say, "Oh, they're actually a fourth-dimensional video game this whole time." Like, "Oh, that's weird," and move on, which is what most people do when they hear about this game. But the way they go about it, because this almost full party, like 6-7 members you have at this point, jump out of a TV, like reverse
Yeah.
Persona 4, and freak out like a public square full of people, except for this one kid, this child, who's like, "Oh, cool! You just jumped out of the eternal sphere. Come with me!" Like it's an '80s movie, and
Yeah.
it's and like where the alien shows up and befriends the kid, and this child just explains everything to them. And like there's choice quotes that I have saved here, like Fate going, "We're just characters living inside a simulator," or Sophia going, "So you're saying that our universe is nothing more than a computer game? But wait, if we're programs, how can we exist here?" And it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But then that kid's mom just calls the cops. It's like, yeah, like these adult strangers just entered my home with my 10-year-old child. I'm gonna call
Knocked
the
out of the
They're yelling
television.
about
Please call the
being-
cops.
Yeah. And they're
And
yelling
then-
about being computer games.
And then and the cops show up and they just beat the shit out of the cops and they leave you alone after that. That's
Yeah.
very good.
It's a weird thing. It's just again.
I love that so much.
But look, like that if you like schlocky dumb things, like they don't do anything even like half that potent in 4, 5, or 6.
No,
Like they
no.
never get to that high. So there's literally nothing left in the tank from Triace other than like lightning returns for you.
Yeah.
And maybe
well, I
Resonance
mean,
of Fate.
Hey, Radiata stories. But anyway,
Eh.
so they go to the amusement park. You get your golden sphere moment very late in the game. In this game, all the mini games are bad.
All of them are bad.
All of them are bad.
It also happened so late in the game that like this
Who
sucks.
cares?
This is
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, this is not a place of honor. And then they're like, okay, well, let's go to the game company that made this game to find out why they're trying to delete the Milky Way. So then you just go to the Sphere company.
Yeah.
And being dumbasses, they're like, yeah, let's just take the public tram to the Sphere company. You get there and they're waiting for you because of course they are.
Well, you've just already myrtleized a bunch of cops.
No, they're not dead. You just beat the shit.
You
out
beat
of
the shit out of a bunch of cops,
Mm-hmm.
and
And-
now you're gonna just hop on a
Yeah.
on a public
Tram.
tram. Yeah.
to talk to your version of God, I guess. Right?
At this video game company. That's like
Yeah.
200 stories tall because fourth dimension. I don't know. But no, the head of security meets you at the door, and he's the hardest boss fight in the game because the MP murders you like very, very quickly. And then you just climb up this dungeon, and for this dungeon, the main gimmick is that all of the mobs are mini bosses. Yay! And then you meet Blair Lansfeld. Good name. One of the chief programmers in the game, who's leading a clique of programmers who disagree with deleting the Milky Way, because if the residents of the Milky Way have gained sentience, then it's wrong to kill them. You know, the whole thing that Star Trek did a lot with Data and the Doctor and
Yeah.
Voyager, of hey, these AIs are sentient now, we shouldn't just treat them like things. But more boss fights ensue. There's an optional 100 floor dungeon that unlocks after this. Don't do it.
All
Yeah,
of these
fuck
games
that.
have that. Don't do that.
Yeah. So then you go up to the top. The founder, CEO, shithead of the company, Luther Lansfeld, very good name, has fucked off to his own pocket dimension. So you
I'll say
enter-
this:
Yeah.
kind of cool killing a tech bro. Like, just wait,
Yeah.
what? In Minecraft, in this game.
Oh yeah. So you go back to Elcor 2. And all the fantasy people are very confused because now there's angels wandering around murdering everything. And you get to go back through some dungeons. You pick your last party member from either. So there are three Elcor 2 people you get. Nell. Well, there's Nell, Roger, and Albel. Albel is a shithead. Fuck that guy. He sucks. You choose one of them to be an optional new party member, and then because the English language version is the international version, where you have 8 party members instead of 6, Mirage, who's been hanging around this whole time, forces his way into the party, and then some guy named Adre Lasbard,
Yeah,
who's Nell's boss's father,
that's a name.
forces his way into the party. You don't have to use him. Don't worry about it. And so you trudge back through that long dungeon to get to the sphere, because the sphere is
Mhm.
actually a debugging tool that the developers put in the game.
Yes.
And then when Sophia touches it, she can open a portal to the fourth dimension, or to the pocket dimension where Luther's hiding. And then you trudge back through the desert again, and you unlock an optional dungeon underneath the desert ruins, which is like a water kind of open area optional dungeon, like puzzly thing. I accidentally went there instead of the critical path at first, and I was very confused. And you go to the pocket dimension. It's your standard final dungeon of a JRPG. You're in space. You're on space platforms. It's Rainbow Road and Mario Kart.
So here's where this, like, I actually think that this game, in hindsight, I think that this game does end well. I like parts of the epilogue. I don't like the actual twist here. It's building up towards this confrontation with Luther. You defeat Luther. You delete Luther, which I think means
Hell
that
yeah.
you murder an actual person, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's dead forever.
Yeah, but also he deletes.
I'm thinking of
the
that.
entire game.
What's the Black Mirror episode with the shithead who takes people's DNA and creates clones in a video game, like the USS McAllister or something like that? So I think we kill him. Like, he's dead, dead. And there's a brief moment where you realize that he's initiated the deletion of the universe.
Yeah, so there's a boss fight, and there's two stages, and in between the two stages, he just
Presses the delete button.
just press the delete button to delete the entire universe because he's an asshole.
And Fate has a moment where he determines that as long as we have sentience, you can't delete our universe, which is the dumbest thing. The dumbest thing. It's like, oh, I think therefore I am. Let's cue the epilogue. Like, just like I get the like emotional tone is correct. It's like, oh, we are actually like, there's a conversation to be had how we're actually AI, but we have achieved sentience, so we are actual people. This universe is valuable to us. But I don't know, like, blow up the fucking computer or something. Like, give me something other than, oh, we're real. It's not a problem. Don't worry.
Is there no data backup that Blair could just go and restart?
Yeah, can't this corporation just turn the server off and delete your universe? Like, give me something else. Like, is this just like like, if EA was the Sphere company, this world would be fucked.
If Ubisoft was the Sphere company,
off, and it would be dead. That you are all dead. The world of Star Ocean is dead if it was EA.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's a lot of fun parallels here. Like, at one point, Blair gives them a CD disc and says, "Hey, if you plug this into the right spot, when you go back to your universe, you can just uninstall all the angels." And just the idea of what if a shepherd had met God and he gave him a mini disc that just uninstalled the Reapers.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
Yeah, it's good.
I enjoyed that a lot. And also just trying to find the right metaphor of who's a famous World of Warcraft character. Name a famous World of Warcraft
Thrall.
Thrall. What if Thrall just jumped out of a computer and redacted Bobby Kotick? Like, that's...
What if he was like, I'm gonna stop you. Loktar Ogar, I'm here to stop you from stealing breast milk from the employee fridge.
It's very... I enjoyed it quite a lot. But yeah, no, thinking the universe back into existence is silly.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like a Pokemon, our Tears of Unfathomable Sadness will bring someone back from the dead. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's like the ending of Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, where she just remakes the.
Now that's art. Like, I will fight that
Okay.
ending. I will fight for that ending. To like the whole ending to Lightning Returns is genuine art. I've said this before, and I will say it again. It's great.
Oh,
The fact
okay.
that it ends as a Louis Vuitton ad, like fucking mwah.
Hi, I'm twitch.tv/arbitrarywater, and I think the ending's real dumb in a good way. But
Yeah, I
this
enjoyed
this
this.
is where we get into one of my favorite things to talk about, which is the Greater Anime Dipshit Index, and my theory that any Japanese RPG with a large party needs to have the correct balance of competent, capable characters and complete numbskull in
All right,
order to be entertaining and good.
so do we go through the cast one by
We
one?
don't have to go through the cast one by one, but how do you think this ranks on that?
All right, so who isn't a dumbass here? I would say Nell's not a dumbass. Maria's not a dumbass. Cliff is smarter than he acts, I would say.
Cliff's fine.
Yeah.
I think everyone else is a dumbass then, after you've listed.
Yeah.
Mirage is competent, but she has nothing to do.
Mirage has
'cause she's a
dumb,
bonus.
like, every now and again, Mirage's brain prolapses and she does something
Yeah.
stupid.
Pepita's a child, so Faye and Sophia are dumbasses. They belong together. Albel sucks. Roger, I don't know. Roger's probably a dumbass. So I'd say about half and half.
Yeah.
But the dumbasses that are dumbasses, they're like triple the dumbassery as the non-dumbasses.
Yeah.
Like
But
they make up for it.
I think this game has a fairly fun ensemble cast. Cause
At times.
at times, I would say it's not the top tier. It's not as good as Star Ocean 2, where everyone's just a dingus, but in like
How's it
a
compared
fun
to Star
way
Ocean
and not
4?
like an annoying anime way. But you need a little bit of that. You need a little bit of that.
I want to just say this. The game's director, I think. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find like what his name fully is. So, Yoshinori Yamagishi, the producer for Star Ocean 3, did a post-release interview with IGN, and this is from 2003. And I want to read these two questions that IGN asked, and then I want to just relay this. So, question: did you look to other games for inspiration on how to improve the gameplay experience in Star Ocean 3? Answer: there were no direct influences in terms of games on our game, but I did look at other RPGs like Final Fantasy as well as fighting games like Street Fighter, but this stands as its own thing. No influences from other games.
I think that's just a very polite Japanese way of saying,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, but no.
But also, like, IP law works differently in Japan. So
Yeah, okay. So here's the question that I want to say. Was there any message you were trying to convey to people who end up playing Star Ocean 3? There are some philosophical issues that are in the game as part of the storyline, but the main message we wanted to give to players was that of trust. I wanted to convey trust to the users.
I can see in the part where they have to get Ariglyph and Aquaria to stop killing each other. That's the only part of the game I can think of where like trust is a issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
It's about family.
Yeah.
This game's about family.
It's about
Yeah.
family.
About family. It's always about family.
All right, but who?
Vin Diesel's favorite game.
Who is the correct love interest for this game?
Probably Maria.
It's Maria.
Yeah. Though, like, canonically, probably Sophia, because
Sure.
like it's.
But
set
know
up that way.
what they say about canon?
Yeah.
Canon is just an extra N away from being a canon.
It's also
You can
people who care.
if you add whatever you want, it becomes a different thing. You ever think about that, man?
Canon's for the weak. Canon is for the weak.
Okay,
AO3
definitely.
wouldn't exist if canon
Yeah.
was a major consideration.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, Maria is probably the correct choice there. So this game got like 8 out of 10s on average. When it
sure.
I
came
mean,
out.
for the time, I feel like all of these mechanical annoyances that we had were totally fine.
I think this game's combat would have been considered acceptable in 04. I think
didn't play more
the
than 3
problem
hours
is
into the game.
now there are like 14 different either other Star Ocean games or Tales of games or fuck man mana even where I can do air juggles and shit real good in a way I cannot easily do in this game. You can do air juggles. There are ways to do juggles. It's just a lot trickier than you would like because it's very janky and hacked together. But yeah, it's fine for the era, but also we have better games now.
Yeah, it's
It
look,
aged like milk.
even though I have my contrivances, man, this game fucking goes for it, dude. Like, you can't discount the fact that Triace, when they at least committed to the bit or committed to ideas, they went fucking hard in the paint, as we say, right?
Yeah.
Used to say.
They would do
15
a
years ago.
Hail Mary for
They
every play. They
threw
would
the
blitz for
football real
every.
far,
They
and
would do a
then
blitz.
the receiver caught it, and
Or
then
receiver
he
fumbled
did a
it.
dunk in the basket.
The Jameis Winston of game developers for
I don't
the
know
5
who this
people who
is.
get that joke.
Okay.
The sports Ballington.
But yeah, they
The-
committed. They committed
Yeah.
to ideas that, as much as I might not like what those ideas sometimes were, they were committed to it. There's no doubt about that. They had ideas, and they still continued to have ideas. I can't act like they somehow like lost the plot and, you know, did fans dirty or something like that. I'm not going to argue that. I just wish that we saw this version of Triace just consistently more often. And we don't, and that sucks.
I just
they-
wish that these games were were consistently more sci-fi more often.
Yeah. I wish these games played
I wish they played better too. Like,
better.
Just played at all.
Star Ocean 4 plays better. It's still definitely a little janky.
It's janky, but it's a lot more playable than this one.
But
But
yeah.
less good than its contemporaries. I think is where
Yeah.
we go with the series.
Yes.
They improve in a vacuum. They improve the gameplay entry to entry by a lot because these are once a generation games. But compared to everything going around them, they fall further and further behind.
Yes. They
Also, why is this a once per console generation series?
because it's not a billion seller franchise. It's like Star Ocean has always been outside of Star Ocean 3, this game sold pretty well because this was the perfect era to capitalize on Final Fantasy fans who needed a fix back when JRPG fans were a desirable demographic to poach. And
this sold like 1.5 million units worldwide eventually.
yeah, this game was a greatest hits on PS2, which is why it's still relatively affordable today.
Yeah, it's like $18, closed in box, complete in box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I would say, if you were fiending for a JRPG in 2004, you should have bought Shadow Hearts Covenant. But if you were fiending for a JRPG in 2004 and didn't want to deal with, the weird horror, occult, historical stuff.
So if you were a basic bitch.
Yeah, it's because you were weak and soft. And now you have to pay $80 for a copy of Shadow Hearts Covenant. Thanks, America.
Thanks, Biden.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So one more thing that Joe Biden caused.
Mhm.
Apparently there was a big scandal when the game came out in Japan, where it just wouldn't run on like launch PS2s,
I'd
like
believe
at
that.
all, like at all, and that's why they turned around the director's cut so fast.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
That's
funny.
pretty funny.
That's great. Was it like I can't even imagine what was the problem?
Enix blamed Sony for the way they they coded in the backwards compatibility, messing it up, and Sony blamed Enix.
Always the backwards
Yep.
compatibility, huh?
It's that and that fucking Final Fantasy anthology game.
See, they weren't even the only game that had that specific problem, so that's actually kind of funny.
Of course, Sony denied everything and was like skill issue.
Now let's rank this. Let's rank Star Ocean the Third till the end of time, because I'm ready to put this on a list next to some other games.
Ooh.
You can find the list at bit.ly/OTDE rank. The URL again is bit.ly/OTDE rank. This podcast is brought to you by the Corporation of Public Broadcasting,
Well, no,
Patreon,
no, it's
and
not.
Not
viewers like
anymore.
you. Not
Yeah,
anymore. Okay.
Not anymore. Yeah, they
Okay.
filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Thanks.
All right, but now we have the top 3 games on this list are Might and Magic 6: The Mandate of Heaven, Suikoden 1, and Xenosaga Episode 1. These are all games that we played within the first 2 years of the podcast. Coincidence? Possibly. At the bottom 3, we have Unlimited Saga at 84, at 85, Hoshiwo Mirohito, and at 86, Descent to Undermountain. Probably forever. Well, maybe our next Patreon incentive will give that a run for its money.
Yeah.
So
What's the nearest B tier PS2 JRPG?
Okay, the nearest...
Wait, hold on. So how does this compare to Xenosaga Episode 2?
It's worse.
Yeah, it's worse than 2.
Oh, how does this compare to Golden Sun?
It's better.
It's better.
How does this compare to Saga 2?
The Saga 2 remake for DS, it's better.
Okay, how does this compare to Fa Xanadu?
I would put this above
Xanadu.
Fax Xanadu.
You would take this above Fax Xanadu?
Really?
Really?
No. Never mind. I would put this below Final Fantasy Adventure.
So this is better than Risen.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
This is better than Deus Ex: The Conspiracy.
This is better than
Yeah.
the PS2 version of Deus Ex, yes. Which
Okay.
you can now play. For whatever reason, that's one of the games they've put in that PlayStation 4 and 5 back compat thing. If you want to play the bad version of Deus Ex, you can do
With the
so on
shorter
PlayStation
levels.
4 and 5 with the compromised level design and the inventory that is much worse. / better, depending
Still
on...
better than Invisible War.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd put this... I mean, honestly, yeah, I'd put this above Risen.
So
Do
then
you
the
have
number
any
38?
objections to this?
Nope. Not at all.
Okay, congratulations to our new number 38, Star Ocean Till the End of Time. Still above the line of mediocrity.
Somehow.
Where's the line of mediocrity? Is that hybrid heaven?
It's hybrid
It's
heaven.
still hybrid
secretly.
heaven.
Oh, okay.
It's
Jeff's line still lives on, even though he's not on this podcast anymore.
Oh, don't worry, we'll fix that soon enough.
Are you going to entice him with what would you
I'm
entice
going to
Jeff
jangle
with?
keys in front of him because he's like, "Oh, I'm just sitting in my cabin, enjoying nature."
Yeah, what did he recently say he's playing? He said that he was playing something. It's like
he was playing Dark
Veilguard?
Cloud. He's just playing Dark
Dark
Cloud and just like feeding the birds and helping old people. Disgusting. We need to drag him back in here. We need to drag him back down to our level instead of forcing him to half play one Final Fantasy game every month.
Yeah, what if you had him play you can have him play Dark Cloud, but what if we tricked him into playing Ancient Roman?
Maybe.
We should play we need to figure out when we want to play Ancient Roman, because what I have seen of this thing.
I think that's going to be our Solstice.
Okay. I thought we were doing something else for Solstice, but okay.
No, we're doing Raven's Cry for Patreon.
Okay. I'm sold.
Remember?
I'm convinced.
Remember, Dad?
Well, wait, whose pick is it next time?
It's my pick.
Oh,
it's your my pick,
right? And you basically
I told
said
you
that
what
this has come down to 2, and then you've narrowed it down to 1.
And I've narrowed it down, but I've narrowed it down to 2 games that are inexplicably in my game library.
I have no idea what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Folklore or do you want to do Dragon Age: The Veilguard?
Folklore.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
Folklore is weirder.
Yeah, fuck you. We're playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I'm going to make you shitheads play all 80 hours BioWare Swan Song.
Why don't we play the previous game? Why not finally play?
Because Inquisition's boring.
Why don't we play Inquisition?
Because that game's boring open world slot.
So I think this is where I put my foot down and say, if we're gonna do this, we do 2 episodes.
Fine. I'll even ask Em if she wants to be on it.
There's already a Dragon Age on here, though. You're double dipping into Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to see the world burn. I would have picked Folklore too.
Yeah, no, fuck you. Yeah, no. I'm working in spite. We're playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Going to play the last Dragon Age game, possibly the last BioWare game.
Nah, I think
we killed Anthem. We killed Anthem. Victory is ours.
Anthem is dying soon.
We will take ours.
Rest in peace. Rest in power.
Drink the blood of our foes.
You just want to dance on BioWare's grave, right?
Also, I need to know. And the only way I'm going to ever force myself to play this game is via #content. So we're doing this.
Yeah. Okay. What is How Long to Beat say?
It's like 500 hours.
How Long to Beat says 30 to 40 hours. Okay.
Yeah, 300 to 400 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm taking away your busy time that you just spent playing Star Ocean.
I mean, how am I going to play more Star Ocean 4 now that I have to play Dragon Age: The Veilguard?
Would you prefer we played Folklore, a game that is also
Remember when you were
30 to 40
joking about
long?
picking Planescape because you thought that would actually cause Borg to spontaneously combust?
I mean, that was forcing him to read would be bad for him. He'd be like, I have to pause in the real time.
Reading is for humanities nerds.
I don't like reading.
It's woke and soy. Don't read.
Wow.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
The
U.S. education system will get there.
here we are now having
Let's
to
play there.
play a game that's recent and new. Wow, we could
Yeah.
actually do it. We could actually nominate this for Game of our Year that
You need
actually
to
came out
understand,
this
I'm
year.
also doing this despite the main pod.
Yeah, because
Okay.
are we now stepping on their turf?
Yeah, but
Oh,
they've
I'm
stepped
sorry.
on
I
our
didn't
turf.
realize they were the only people allowed to talk about BioWare games.
No, like modern games, like contemporary
we-
games.
we
like
They
talked
have
about modern
stepped in
games.
our arena. They have stepped in our arena multiple
They
times.
they
so
took
I-
Trials
okay.
of Mana from us.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, turf war. It's beef.
Turf War, fighting.
So what
No.
you're saying is that we're gonna do Deltarune Part 2 or whatever?
And 3 and 4.
Yeah, we'll just cover Deltarune. And yeah,
I mean, Deltarune seems pretty good.
Yeah, I've watched not Relkin, Rio play that game.
Yeah.
It seems fine to good
Yeah, I
for
like
the
I like
indie twee
I
crowd.
like that. Yeah. Do you like twee indie games?
no,
Not really.
Do you like goofs and japes?
depends.
Yeah.
Deltarune is pretty good.
What if
Pretty
we picked Mother 3?
Yeah,
No. Gross.
We should
I would
pick Mother
require-
3 for
Also, here's the other thing. Before we sign off. Is Gino's like, oh, we need to pick game because Gino's like, oh, we got to pick games that people actually have heard of so that we can get listeners
for deep listens though, not for off the deep end, right?
for deep listen. Well, he's told that to us too, and you know what? I think that is cowardice.
But now we're
Which
playing
is why
a
I'm
modern...
picking a game that everyone has heard of that no
Okay.
one bought.
Is this
Also,
also in
it's-
response to everyone not listening to our Nadesico episode of OG Soundcast?
No, none of you fuckfaces listened to our Martian successor Nadesco podcast.
That's not a real.
I
anime.
liked that anime.
That's not real.
You're not real, much like the characters in the video game Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
Shit, you caught me.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. And on that note, Braden...
And on that note, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, SuperSex420, for the theme music that you hear at the beginning and ending of the podcast. Thank you, Chris. You can find him on the internet as Zombie Pie. Thank you, Borgmaster. You can find him on the Twitches at 5th Generation Gaming and 5thgenerationgaming.blogspot.com.
No, it's actually it's 5thgengaming.blog.
5thgengaming.geocities.com/index.
Okay. Sure.
And you can
Geocities,
find me
yeah.
on Twitch or something. I don't know. But bye. No such thing as cheating in a single player game. Oh, that was it. This is going to be fun one to edit.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun editing this, huh?